Okay, so today we're gonna go over boys' hair. Everyone's head is a little bit different and it will depend on your haircut. So we're gonna use Reed and I'm gonna show you some options. First thing I usually do is I dampen your hair so when you put the gel and everything else, it dries. You don't want it soaked because then it's gonna take too long to dry. So we have a spray bottle. I'm just gonna put some gel in his hair. Next thing is if you've got longer hair on the sides, we're gonna wanna part it whatever direction your hair normally goes. So to do that, I am going to run a comb through the hair and then I'm gonna look at the track marks and I'm gonna pop the comb down and pull it towards the longer side. And then I'm gonna part it down on the other side. And that actually looks okay, so we're gonna go with it. So I'm gonna take that the rest of the way back. If you need to, you can pull it forward and move the hair across, just so you get a really defined part. Because we're going 1920s ballroom, we want to be able to see it right down the middle. Cool. I'll fix that in a minute. All right, once you've got your part in, you can use gel or mousse or something to use as a base. So I'm going to show you some options. Reed brought this one, which is a got to be glued spiking gel. I also like LA Looks because it's really cheap and you can use a ton of it if you need to, if you've got really thick hair. I also like this mousse by Got to be Glued, which gives it a little bit more volume without getting the wet look. So you can use either, you just need something in there for the roots of your hair. So we'll try this one on you today and see how it goes. I'm gonna run that through his hair.
Oh, it smells nice.
And it's cheap.
Yay. Magic.
Okay, so, and then follow through, and I just kind of comb with my fingers. I used to have longer hair on the sides, and I would take the gel at the end and then go straight back. I would usually do the sides first before the top, just so you don't get that weird, all the product is up here at the front and not down the sides. And then because I'm OCD, after we do that, I'm gonna take my comb and one more time, just define my part. That also lets you comb product through your hair. So if you've got really wavy hair, this can help it to kind of tame itself out. All right, next thing we're going to do is hairspray, and this is the secret to having it so it doesn't move for the rest of the competition or the show or whatever we're doing. You have two options here that I'm going to show you. You can use any type of hairspray. Got to be Glued, I would say, is a little bit more preferred because it's like $5 a bottle and it really sticks. The one thing is once you spray this, you've got to work fast because you don't have a lot of time before it dries. I like this one as I've gotten older just because it sprays on lighter. You don't have to use as much, but it is about $30 a bottle. So pick your poison. Do you want the one that you spray a ton in and then dry it out, or do you want something that's a little bit lighter? Up to you. And if your son is doing this on his own, maybe you want to start with a cheaper one because he's going to spray the dickens out of everything. So I'm just going to shape this a little bit more before I start hairspraying. And then with the hairspray, we're not just gonna spray it, but we're gonna use a blow dryer, and that's what's gonna make it harden and give you that like football helmet
Crispy.
that doesn't move.
If your hair doesn't crunch when you touch it, you've done it wrong.
All right, so what I'm gonna do is, if he had longer hair, I'd start down the sides first and then comb the top into the part. But since he's got a shorter side haircut, I'm just gonna mess with the top, but I'm always gonna leave the boofier, bigger part to do second, because you can always go back and retouch that up. So I'm gonna follow his hairline, and just a minute, this is stuck together. I'm just gonna follow down the hair and spray the dickens out of it. And then I like to go over with either the brush or my finger, just so you don't get those little bubbles all over. And then you want to put your hair dryer on a medium, not the highest setting, and just dry it out. So that's done there. And then we're gonna do the other side of your part. So we're gonna make sure the top looks like it needs to, because once I spray it on, that's where it's gonna be. I'm gonna come in front of the camera for just a second so I can see it. All right, and again, back to my blow dryer, so it doesn't go anywhere. All right, and then after that, you can comb through it depending on what type of hairspray you do. Your biggest goal is we don't want to have any big splits, so I don't want to have so much gel where the hair like cracks and has big combs. You need either all comb even or it needs to be flat against your scalp. Reed's got really wavy hair, so it's going to give it some body, but I also don't want any flyaways. So after I go through and you've got your initial shape, I'm gonna comb it back. If you see this part's really squishy, so I might do some more hairspray in there. I'm gonna get all these flyaways around his scalp so you look like a Ken doll by the end of it. I'm gonna use the Gotta Be Glued for the other half just because we like the shape. Once you've got all the flyaways down, I usually do one more big spray, sometimes two if you've got really thick hair, just so that it gets that kind of plasticky shiny. No, it's awful, but it is what it is. As guys, we can't tie it back with other hair. And then come back in, blow dry it on medium, and far away from your scalp so you don't blow the hair into a different position. We've got one flyaway here in the back, so I'm gonna just spray that into submission. There's no such thing as cowlicks with enough hairspray. And then I'll have him shake his head just like you would with a girl. This feels loose. Or if you watch with the blow dryer, that's still moving. So I'm gonna wanna spray that back down. Just a little so you look like a human. I don't like this look against your head look. If you can get a little body in it, it looks that much better. And then again, as I'm blowing it through, I'm seeing little spots that are moving, so I'm just gonna spray them and lightly take my finger over the top of them so that it moves back in. And then you're just gonna go through and repeat that as many times as you need until it has a good plastic and it's not moving anywhere. What's nice is when it's harder and shiny, as you pull costumes up and over your head, it's gonna stay in the same spot. As you're dancing, it's not gonna slowly melt throughout the day. So if I look at his hair right now, I'm pretty happy with this. This needs just a little bit more dry hairspray to keep it stiff, but then you're good to go.